Yo. Welcome in, man. Today is April the 14th. There is no games on the slate for today, but we do have two in-season tournament games two play-in games for tomorrow, and then another two play-in games for Wednesday as well. So we'll go through the Tuesday slate today. I'll do another video either tomorrow or this evening, talking about Miami, Chicago, and Dallas and Sacramento. But in this show, we'll talk Atlanta and Orlando and Memphis and Golden State. So, we'll get into a recap. It should be a pretty quick show. We'll jump into a quick recap. Yesterday, just one look for me. It was a loser. Golden State and the Clippers. First half under 107.5, and they squeaked up and over. The total was a 60-point second quarter, which killed the under. Looked good in the first quarter, though. Looked really good in the first quarter. But that ended up being a loser. The full game ended up going over as well, even before overtime. So that was a losing proposition, both of those. Always talk about those, even those big games, sometimes they can still go under the books and try to coerce you and taking the under. And they got me yesterday. Definitely got me. Probably in retrospect, probably should have added the Heat and the Wizards to go up and over. That was a winner we talked about yesterday. We also talked about the Pelicans not being able to score, and they did stay under a team total of 110.5. I think they had 99 points. So got to do a little bit better. I think I like the play-in games. I do like them a lot. There's a couple ways I'm looking to play, and one that I fired off already. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the honorable mentions and see if I get to the window with any of those as well. What up, I love us. Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Let's jump into it for today. So we'll start us off as we always do with jaXon, an AI sports betting tool that you can use to help handicap games. The prompt for jaXon was, what is the best bet in the Hawks and the Magic game for tomorrow? And jaXon says, based on research, the best bet for the Hawks and Magic tomorrow game is Hawks plus the 5. And here's why the pick stands out. jaXon likes the Hawks because they've split the regular season matchups with each team winning 2. However, Atlanta's covered 3 of the 4 spreads. In the most recent game on April the 13th, which was yesterday, a meaningless game, the Hawks 117 to 105, covering as a 3.5-point favorite. The game showcased Atlanta's offensive firepower, even with some key players resting. Atlanta's strength as road underdogs, so the Hawks thrive in this spot. They are going 21-9-1 against the number as road underdogs of 3.5 points to 9.5 points this season. This trend highlights their ability to perform well in tough environments. Trae Young, Atlanta's star guard, has a history of stepping up in pressure games. He's averaged 28.3 points per game against the Magic this season, despite shooting just 26% from the three-point line. Orlando's offensive struggles. The Magic ranked 27th in offensive rating, and they're the worst three-point shooting team in the league. Without Jalen Suggs, their spacing and perimeter defense have suffered significantly. Since March 1st, Orlando has been 19th in points per 100 possessions, further emphasizing their offensive limitations. Defensive matchup. While Orlando boasts the league's best defensive scoring defense, Atlanta's offense ranks 5th in points per game and has been even better since the All-Star break. Atlanta's ability to generate free throws, second in free throw rate, and offensive rebounds, 11th in offensive rebound percentage, could exploit Orlando's defense, especially with Wendell Carter Jr. listed as questionable. Playoff experience. Atlanta's playoff tested roster, led by Trae Young, gives them the edge in high-stake games. Young's ability to create offense and crush time is a significant advantage over Orlando's less experienced core. So jaXon likes Atlanta plus the 5 tomorrow. You can get a plus 5.5, I think, on a couple books, but jaXon likes the 5.5 in this game between the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic for tomorrow. So that's what jaXon likes. There is a link in the description where you can, if you like the analysis that jaXon just gave, you can look for player props, sides, totals, team totals, whatever it is that you're looking for. jaXon can give you some, save you some time and do the research for you just based on the prompt that you put in. So check jaXon out if you're interested, and sign up if you're interested as well. You can get 5 free prompts per month also. So let's talk about that game. Right now, I'm seeing 5s on the board for tomorrow, Orlando and Atlanta. Looks like 5s across the board. I thought I saw this morning when I woke up, I thought I saw some 5.5s. Maybe those are gone now. I think a couple 5.5s are still there. So Yeah, still a couple 5.5s on ESPN Bet and Bet MGM got a couple 5.5s. So the more I look into this game, and I'll just be quick. I did bet this one. I bet a player prop in this one, but I did bet it. Sent it out to the members last night. The more I look into the game, the more I disagree with jaXon. I kind of think Orlando can win this game and cover the number. I don't weigh too heavily into the matchup yesterday, of course, with all of the Atlanta Hawks starters sitting. But the other three games that were in the Magic started sitting as well. The other three games that happened to me mean more. Orlando won the season series 2-1, in my opinion. Like I said, the last game doesn't count. Yesterday game doesn't. I'm not gonna weigh that game into too much. Atlanta won the first game as well. Orlando won the next two, and I just bet on Orlando I just bet on Atlanta last week. Not the game that happened yesterday on Sunday, but the game that happened last week. I think it was on the 8th. I bet Atlanta to keep that one within the margin, and they couldn't. When I look at Atlanta, I think about a team that can score the basketball, yes, but can they defend and get the stops? And I don't think so. Orlando's offense has started to come together. Their offense since the All-Star break has been a little bit better than it had been before the All-Star break. So the more I think about the matchup, the more I think about Orlando being able to score. When you think about Orlando as a whole, right, this is not a great offensive team. We've known that. On this season, they ranked 26th in points scored per 100 possessions, or you can say their offensive rating is 26th. 29th in effective field goal percentage, so they don't score the basketball well. They're 20th in turnover rate, so they've had problems protecting the basketball as well. But they do get to the free throw line. Atlanta struggles to guard the free throw line. These are full season numbers. Second, they shoot the second most free throws. That's Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner putting their head down, getting to the rim. And Atlanta sends teams to the free throw line at the top 10 rate. These are full season numbers. Now, if we scale down to what we saw after the All-Star break, and we got to take into consideration that Orlando is not the whole team that they weren't the whole team, a sum of their parts, you could say, before the All-Star break, because Franz got hurt, Paolo got hurt, Mo got hurt, he's not coming back. Jalen Suggs was playing, he's not coming back. But Orlando's put it together, in my opinion, since the All-Star break. You look at their numbers and their offense increase. Their offensive efficiency goes from 26, they had a 110 offensive rating, to 116. They're 14th in offensive efficiency since the All-Star break. They're also second in effective field goal percentage. I'm sorry, not since the All-Star break. These are just their last 10 games. Orlando's offense, my point is just that Orlando's offense has looked a lot better, and they've been good at home as well. 21-19-1 against the number. The other thing about Orlando is they've dominated the Southwest Division. They won the Southwest Division. They in their matchup specifically, they're 12-3 straight up, 11-4 against the number. So they've covered 73% of their divisional games this season. They've won 7 in a row in the division as well. And meanwhile, Atlanta's dropped their last 4 in the division as a dog, and they haven't covered any of the spreads as well. 0-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 4 divisional games. And when I think about the matchup and why it's not a good one for Atlanta, their offense is kind of going back and forth. They started the season as a team that was attacking the rim, and then they transitioned to a team that's shooting a bunch of threes. We'll see what version we get of the Atlanta Hawks. I just don't think that I don't think that either one of those is sustainable against Orlando unless they get hot, and that can happen. Orlando can get hot. Atlanta can get hot. But when you think about it, the way that Atlanta likes to score since the All-Star break, they like to get points in the paint. They're first in points in the paint. They average 57 points in the paint per game. Orlando allows just 47, which is the third fewest. Atlanta also likes to get out and run. They're 4th in fast break points since the All-Star break. And Orlando, top 10 defensively, giving up points in transition as well. I think I give a coaching advantage to Jamal Mosley as well. I think Orlando has the better coach. Quinn Snyder is someone that even in his time in Utah couldn't propel the team up and over when they had Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. He's only 23-37 in the postseason, his postseason record. Jamal Mosley is only 3-4 in postseason. But they took the Cleveland Cavaliers to the brink in Game 7 last season in a great coaching matchup between him and JB Bickerstaff. So I lean towards Orlando. I may end up getting there. I think Orlando will be able to score the basketball. I'm not looking for the Hawks to be able to stop anybody. They just haven't been a solid defensive team throughout the whole season. They got a 116 defensive rating, which is 19th on the full season. These numbers since the All-Star break don't really mean that much, but they really just can't get stops consistently, especially against a really good team. So I'm considering an Orlando team total up and over as well. Problem is that when I look at the head-to-head, the play-in game numbers, I don't really want to play too many overs. The totals between two teams since the start of the 2021 season when we started the play-in are 17-7 to the under in the play-in game specifically. So I don't necessarily want to take unders. Last season they were 4-2 to the under. But I do think that Orlando is going to be able to score the basketball. I think Atlanta is going to force them to be able to score the basketball because Atlanta is going to try to get out, run, and score the basketball. In the 26 games before yesterday's game, yesterday's game kind of has an asterisk, a throwaway game. Atlanta had allowed 17 of their 26 opponents to go up and over their team total. There's 16 of their 26 opponents to go up and over their team total. They're 17-9 to the over since the All-Star break. Meanwhile, Orlando has won 8 of their last 10 games as well, and they won by 5 points or more in 8 of those 10 games as well. So that's my thought process and my breakdown of the one game. As far as player props, the one that I actually bet, I'll start with the one that I bet. And I bet on Zachary Risacher to go under his 11.5 points. I'm gonna actually bring this up so everybody can see it, especially for my visual people. We'll go over short field trip over to Outlier. This is Outlier, one of the sports betting softwares that I utilize for handicapping player props. So let's just get a refresh here. This is Paulo. I was looking at Paulo. We'll talk about Paulo in just a second. But Risacher is his numbers still 12.5. I bet his points prop here, just FYI. His points prop is still 12.5. It's minus 125 now. I got minus 120 last night. Terrible matchup for Zachary Risacher here. So you can see here his under 12.5 points. He's actually stayed under in 7 of his last 10 games. But even outside of that, like I wasn't necessarily looking at his points recently. I was just thinking about the matchup, right? So psychologically, when we break this down, this is his first playoff game of his career. He's a rookie, right? He's on the road. That's 2. Then he's playing against the top 2 defensive team in the NBA. Orlando did finish number 2, right behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. And he's playing against a team that plays at the second slowest pace in the NBA. Orlando is not a team that wants to get up and down the floor. Risacher gets nearly 1/3 of his points in transition as well. He likes to get out and run. Orlando allows the 5th fewest transition points in the NBA. He also gets another 27% of his points as a spot-up shooter. And Orlando is number 1 in opponent spot-up opportunities on the season. So the way that Zachary Risacher likes to score the basketball, I do not think is going to be there for him. If you look at his numbers just in the head-to-head matchups this season, you can see that he has not gotten to 13 points at all in any of the games. You can see his minutes kind of dwindle as well. I would take this one with a grain of salt. This is the game from yesterday, but 18, 23, and 16 in the 3 games that he's played against them. You can see his field goal attempts, not really taking a lot of shot attempts either. 6. He did have 15 in this game, still stayed under 6 in this game. And then yesterday he played, he had just 5 in 10 minutes. So don't think the 3-point shot's going to be there. Don't think the spot up's going to be there for Zachary Risacher. I did bet him under his 12.5 points. 12.5 is still available right now. This says FanDuel has it at minus 125. I think Bet360, if you have access to Fanatics still has it at minus 120. It has come down to 11.5 on most books. So that's the play that I have locked in for today. As far as secondary plays, I think a look at Paulo, right? We were just talking about Paulo. It's kind of chalky, but I do think Paulo has a big game. When you think about the Orlando Magic, I mean, they don't have a lot of guys that's going to go out there and fill it up in the first place. Paulo's going to take a lot of shots, in my opinion. You can see that he's in really good form. He scored at least 30 points. His over-under is set at 29.5. And the more prominent sports books do have this juice at minus 130, minus 125. I don't like betting on player props that are this high, but I mean Paolo makes a ton of sense here. Um, you can see here he's hit the over in 6 of his last 10 games. I wouldn't even consider this game against Boston. Let's see, how many minutes did he play in that game? Well, he played 28.9 minutes. He almost played 30 minutes, but they blew Boston out, so he didn't have to play the full game. Outside of that, though, I think Paolo, looking at Paolo, he's destroyed Atlanta this season. They just really don't have a good matchup for Paolo. If we go in and look at his head-to-head matchups, you can see in the 3 games, he didn't play yesterday. In the 3 games that he has played against them, 31, 36, and 33. And he shot the ball well, too. Bunch of field goal attempts. We come down here, we can see the field goal attempts, 22, 25, and 24. So clearly the game plan for Jamal Mosley is to get the ball to Paolo and let Paolo go to work. I do think that he will have about 20 shot attempts in this game as well. So you can see that, the shot attempts and the points to correlate here, 45%, 44%, and 50% in the 3 games. Atlanta is a team that struggles a lot against the pick and roll. They're 24th in defensive efficiency, and they also foul a lot. They send teams to the free throw line at the 6th highest rate. Paolo shoots, I think he's top 5 in free throw rate as far as the full season goes. He gets 19% of his points at the free throw line. And this season, when I looked into games where he's taken at least 21 shot attempts, so you dumb this number down a little bit, he's cashed in 16 of the 25 games this season, good for 64%. If you add that he's playing a team that's top 10 in pace, which Atlanta's top 5 in pace, and he's taking 21 shot attempts or more, he's over in 8 of his 11 games, good for 73% as well. So if you like, the chalk type plays, I do think Paolo is in a really good spot to go out here and get 30. It's going to be needed, in my opinion, against this Atlanta team. So that's my thought process on this first game. Hopefully it was helpful for you for your sports betting needs. I did bet Zachary Risacher up to go under his 12.5 points. And I also took, that's the only thing that I took, but slight, real heavy lean towards my Orlando. I think that they can win and cover. And then I would also be looking towards Paolo Banchero to go up and over his 29.5 points prop. Let's see what the thought processes are here, if any. DJ, what up, DJ? He says Caris LeVert will be big off the bench for Atlanta. I do agree with that. And shout out to whoever said Max Christie. I'm about to write something down, and I see Max Christie name sitting here. Caris LeVert makes a lot of sense. They will rely a lot on his offense, and that might be one of the reasons why Zachary Risacher minutes have not been as high against the Orlando Magic. Caris LeVert is a bucket. He's an absolute bucket. So I can't disagree with you here, DJ. I like that look a lot. Let's see what Caris points prop is. Probably like 11.5, 10.5, I would think. Let's see. 12.5. 12.5 for Caris LeVert. Just had a 13-point game against them last week. And has played well against them this season. Actually hit the over in all 3 games, 18, 13, and 13. So couldn't talk you off some Caris LeVert love. I love it since, I locked my plays in last night. What up, Corey? Appreciate you for tipping in. Jay Stone's his Pelican team total. I wish I had put some money on it, Jay Stone. Glad you cashed it, though, bro. Real glad you cashed it. I did not. I love it since he's taking Trae Young double the cash. Orlando shooting like 45% from 3 last 3 games. You heard says Hawks going to cover as a dog and Golden State will cover as a favorite, Corey says. What up, Justin? My God. Doesn't 219 seem low though? Yeah, it does. You heard. I was looking into that a little bit more. It's actually down to 216.5 now. And I get it, right? It's a play-in game. Like, it's hard to score points when teams are going to play their best defense. I don't trust Atlanta defensively though. That's really what it comes down to. And I think that's why they're not in the play-in. I mean, that's why they're in the play-in and not the playoffs. Can Orlando hold Atlanta under 106 points? I think that's going to be tough. Atlanta's offense is going to score, in my opinion. I know Orlando's a really good defensive team. And can Atlanta hold Orlando under 110 points? Atlanta giving up 112 to everybody. So both of these numbers seem a little too low for me. Right now, you can get Atlanta to score 105.5 at -115 on Bet365. The lowest Orlando team total is 110.5, and that's pretty much across the board. So I agree. I think it's not even 219 like you said. It's it was 219. It's come down to 216.5 right now on ESPN Bet. I'd be looking over it before I'm playing under. Justin says he played -5.5, -5. And son, it says something. Justin is an Atlanta guy. Justin likes the Hawks. He loves the Hawks. That's his team. So if he put the Orlando in his pocket, I think I was already leaning that way. I think I might. I don't know. We'll see. I think the I'm laying before I'm taking though, in my opinion. Let's see. Gorgeous Niang over his 6.5 points for John. Eric says if Atlanta wants to win, they need to score. They won't win with defense. I agree, Eric. I agree, and that's why I lean over as well. What up, Chaz? Is not sure why I'm up, but what up, guys? Sean says he took the over. I like it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Justin says he likes the Hawks. He says love my Hawks. It's not tomorrow. Chad says Magic comfortably. Yeah, so some alignment there. I do agree. It's Orlando. I think Atlanta I just can't trust them. I can't trust them. I just bet them in this spot the other day. Let's move over to the last game. I think we did a pretty good job there. We got the Grizzlies and the Warriors. So I didn't update the numbers. I put this in as soon. I put made the graphics as soon as I saw the lines become available yesterday. This should say the updated lines, and I'll go through and update it real quick. I think consensus for Golden State is it is still 6.5. The totals just dropped from 232 down to 229.5, and I do agree with that. I do agree with the movement coming down. Just haven't bet it yet. The Warriors they killed me yesterday with an under, so it's tough to go right back to the under. But I do think it's a little bit more of an under game. So totals dropped 3 points. The spread opened 6.5 on DraftKings. I saw 7 everywhere else, and now some bad back coming in on Golden State in this on Memphis in this spot, pushing this down to 6.5. It feels like on most books. There are still a couple 7s out there. So the key thing here is the Golden State injury report, right? Steph looked pretty good yesterday, even though he did have a that sprained finger. He shot the ball pretty well, specifically in the second half and in the fourth quarter. The Grizzlies will be without Jalen Wells, which I think is really, really big, especially having to slow down Steph Curry. They don't have a guard that's going to be able to stop Steph. And then, of course, Jimmy Butler as well. He took that knee-to-knee contact. I think it was his left knee that took the contact from Kawhi Leonard on a drive late in the fourth quarter in that game, and you could see him limping. He said after the game that he was going to be fine, just needed to play some dominoes and drink some coffee, and he'd be fine. And I'm kind of expecting that. Whatever kind of injection they need in order for him to be out there, I'm expecting for him to be out there. And this is really it's not the greatest spread. If this would have opened at 5, I would have been laying the points with Golden State. I do think 6.5 is about right. And plus, this is the one spread that I won't bet. I'm not going to bet the spread because I want to play the Warriors, and I already got the Warriors to make the playoffs. So really, I got a Warriors money line ticket because if they win, they will slide into the playoffs. Memphis loses and they get the second game because this is 7 versus 8. So I'm not going to give you guys too much. I'm not going to advise you on what to bet in this game. I do think Memphis has been a fade just in the second half of the season. Golden State has actually dominated them in the 4 head-to-head matchups as well. They won 3. The one that they lost, they did get smoked in though. I think they lost that game by 40. Golden State ended up blowing them out again as well. And then in the most recent game, Steph just went out for 50 plus. I think it was 50 plus in Memphis just a couple weeks ago. So they've won 3 of the 4. Golden State has. They've covered 3 of the 4 as well. 3 of the 4 have actually gone over. Memphis not playing a ton of defense. Golden State, one of the better defensive teams since the All-Star break. Memphis is only 2-8 straight up, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. If you take out the meaningless game last night, where they did beat Dallas by however many points, by like 30 or 40. Since the All-Star break, though, the Grizzlies have not been on the right track. Taylor Jenkins got fired. They're only 11-16 straight up, 5-21-1 against the spread. The Grizzlies are 5-21-1 against the spread since the All-Star break. Meanwhile, Golden State just kind of going through the motions, it feels like. And yesterday, they just couldn't get a stop. James Harden hit a couple big threes to start the overtime, and their offense is really, you can see when Golden State loses and don't win a championship, you can see why. Because they're so heavily reliant on Steph Curry to generate all their offense. And you can just see, if you're a fan of basketball, you've been watching for a while, you can see that they're just so reliant. Draymond out there smoking layups yesterday. However, the Warriors, I think, do win this game. They're 6-3-1 against the spread in their last 10, 20-7 straight up, 14-12-1 against the numbers since the All-Star break. And those a couple of games came without Steph. They're also 14-5-1 against the spread, with their average margin of victory being 16 points, including 6 straight wins and covers when they do win. So when the Warriors win, they do win by margin. Meanwhile, Memphis on the road as a dog since the All-Star break. 5 games they played, they've lost all 5. They're 0-4-1 against the spread. They lose by an average of 13 points. So the line is this high because I think the bookmakers know that if Golden State wins, they're probably going to be by double digits. And if Memphis loses, it's probably going to be by double digits based on the numbers that I just gave you guys. And all 5 losses have been by 6 points or more on the Memphis side of things. And they're allowing an average of 126 points in those losses as well. So, like I said, I think Jalen Wells not being there is going to be it's really going to hurt Memphis. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board. They couldn't stop Steph with Jalen Wells playing in the last game. So I think that's going to be huge. Now that he's not there, Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to have his work cut out for him. We'll see if Kuminga can make an impact. Steve Kerr kind of threw him on the bench yesterday, never even had him even in part of the rotation. Golden State also, when I was just looking at some of the advanced stuff, they score a bunch of points off turnovers. They actually lead the league in points off turnovers. And if you've been watching Memphis, they've been struggling with ball security. They're 22nd in points allowed off turnovers since the All-Star break. Memphis also ranks bottom half of the league. Memphis also ranks bottom half of the league in points off turnovers. Golden State's getting 22 points off turnovers. So I do think they'll be able to take advantage of the miscues of the Memphis Grizzlies because they're a little lackadaisical with the basketball at times. I think that's a big point of emphasis here. So my thought process on the game, if I was to make a bet, I lean towards Memphis team total under. I think that Golden State will be able to slow Memphis down. Memphis has actually played in some unders. They didn't score. They couldn't score against Denver in that game on Friday, which was pretty interesting. The game before that, they also went under. So when they played against some really tough teams, they have struggled. And then there's also this, right? And I'm gonna actually pull this up so you can see it. I'm gonna go over to Give Me the Dog real quick. So this is Give Me the Dog. Let's minimize me. So this is Give Me the Dog. This is a sports data query language website that you can utilize. It's actually free too, and there's a link in the description. No, it's not in the description, but it's on the last graphic where you can see the website as well. So this is the Grizzlies as road dogs this season. You can see that they're 5-15 straight up, 8-11-1 against the number. Their last 3, you can see them right. Well, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last 6, they're 0-6-1 against the number. Just not getting a lot of stops, man. And I don't think they're gonna win I'm not giving them a chance really against the Warriors either. The other thing I wanted to look at was when they are playing against an opponent that has opponent with a winning record. And you can see here that they are 13-23-1 against the spread in those games, 20-7 if they're playing against a team that has a winning record. Only 12-25 straight up as well. I think their defense will come to bite them. You can see the big slew of losses here, both against the spread and straight up. And if we just if we add ASAB, which is after All-Star break, you can see that they're 2-12 straight up, 2-11-1 against the number, losing by an average of 8.9 points per game. Yeah, they just been getting manhandled, man. The Grizzlies have not been great in this spot as well. So that's the thought process in this game. Like I said, I'm not betting on the Warriors because I got a money line bet on the Warriors. If they win the game, then they make the playoffs and I cash my ticket. So no need for me to bet the spread. I do think that Golden State gets the job done, though. That's my thought process. Let's see. And I didn't really look. I will say this. I don't even know if the lines come out, but I think Moses Moody will be a big part of this game. His defense that he can play on Desmond Bane and Ja Morant, slowing those guys down. He had a really big game yesterday. I think he had like 3 or 4, or maybe even 4 or 5 steals plus blocks. He's somebody that kind of sneaky look. I think could potentially have a big impact on the game from a defensive standpoint. Moses Moody up and over his steals plus blocks. You can get 1.5 right now. I hadn't even looked at the number. You can get 1.5 at -165, which I don't really like that. That's a little too much juice. But ESPN Bet got a 2.5 right now for Moses Moody to finish with 2+ steals and blocks. And you could get that at +160 over on ESPN Bet. That's also something that I'm considering in this matchup is Moses Moody to go up and over his steals plus blocks. I think that he's going to have a big I think he plays a big role in this game defensively against the guards for the Memphis Grizzlies. So Moses Moody, especially as long as he gets the minutes, which I'm thinking he's going to get there. He's up and over. Matter of fact, I'll go back to Outlier really quickly, so just so I can show you guys what I'm looking at. Moses Moody here, he's up and over his steals plus blocks, and what is this? 5 of his last 6. Like I said, he's coming off a big game against the Clippers as well. Had 2 blocks and 3 steals yesterday. If we look at the head-to-head matchup, not that it matters. He has not done well against Memphis this year, but I like Moses Moody. I do like him a lot in this spot. I think he can get the 2. I think he can potentially get the 3, just depending on his minutes. And I do think that the minutes will be there for him in this spot. So Moses Moody up and over his steals plus blocks would be the way that I'm considering this one. Let's see what the thought processes are here. We'll get into a quick recap, and that'll be it for today. All right, so Corey says TV games we will get an underdog and a favorite. That could potentially happen. Zach Edie for DJ says should be able to abuse Golden State down low. I'll take his double at plus 195. Okay. What up? Reem says yo Chris, let's get it. Side note, yeah, I did see the WNBA draft tonight. Yeah, we only got about a month, right? I think it's about a month left for WNBA season. I'm super excited for the W, man. Super excited. Helping Hands says, are you hedging at all, Chris? I'm not. I'm not Helping Hands. I'm not, bro. I think Golden State's the better team. Will it bite me in the butt? It could. It absolutely could. Anything can happen in these one-off type games. That's why the NBA, I think, is why they created them. But I'm not hedging. I hadn't even considered it, if I'm being honest. But we'll see. We'll see what the prices are for Memphis to win the game. I guess I could potentially hedge. I don't really want to though. I think Memphis goes down. But I guess you give me something to think about, Helping Hands. I hadn't even considered it. I love it. Says Curry gonna cook Ja. Chad says it's Grizzlies plus 7 or nothing for him. Edie rebounds. Props look solid. Edie been getting more minutes, but foul trouble scares me. Chad says thought about Warriors win 1-10. 7 is just too many for me. Yeah, it's because when they win, no, Chad, they typically do cover. And when Golden State and when Memphis loses, they typically don't cover. So I understand that the book's gonna put it high for a reason. If Jackson is hot, Edie might not get burn. Maybe put him at the 5 is what I love us thinks. What up, Brian? For real, just got Memphis plus 7.5 last night. Yeah, them 7.5's gone. I never even saw 7.5 pop up. What up, True? Says Chris, Jerry Jackson Jr. will be the difference maker along with Zach Edey if Memphis is to win. Yeah, they're gonna need a big job, Jerry Jackson Jr. game. Do we trust Jerry Jackson Jr. to stay out of foul trouble? That scares me as well, but I understand. Vaughn says on Bet365, Paulo for 25, Orlando team total over 105.5, and Orlando money line gets you plus 105 parlayed together, something that makes sense and coincides together. Okay. John says he likes Scottie Pippen Jr. Points, rebounds, and assists under. He's under in both games versus Golden State with Ja. Yeah, I don't think I'm hedging either, Justin. I don't think I'm hedging. Just to win, like I got a money line. I don't think so. I'll run it through the hedging calculator, but I doubt it. If I do, I'll let the members know. But I'm not a big hedge type guy. It is a pretty nice bet though. We got Golden State minus 140. I do need them to win. I ain't gonna lie, I do need them to win. Lord B says he likes Memphis to cover as well. DJ says Golden State will lose if we see Buddy Hield on the court again. Yeah, Steve Kerr drawing up that game winner for him yesterday. Ugh, boy, it's kind of nasty work by Steve Kerr. I would have rather drew it up for Brzezinski, but that's just my thought process. Steve Kerr gets paid the big bucks, and he's won Olympic medals and medals with Jordan on the Bulls and Warriors. So yeah, don't need me to talk about it. Let's get into a quick recap. I didn't update this sheet. These are the plays from yesterday, but like I said, I did bet Zachary Risache. How you spell Risache? R-I-S-C-H-A-C-H-E-R. Yeah, no, that's definitely wrong. ACHER. There we go. CHA. Yeah, that's right. Zachary Reese-Shea, under 12.5 points. This number is still available right now. That's the only bet that I've played so far. Like I said, I don't really want to hedge I'm probably not gonna hedge the Golden State game. So more plays in that first game would be Paolo Banchero over 29.5 points. Also think the Magic. Think Orlando gets the job done. Orlando -5. Or if you don't like this spreads, Orlando team total over 110.5. I think Atlanta's gonna force them to have to score at least 111 points, but based on the pace that they play at. So we'll see how that goes. And then remember I said Moses Moody. So let's see. I'm not sure why it's coming up as green. I didn't bet this yet, but Moody over his 1.5 or 2.5. I think I probably just played a 2.5, honestly. Over 2.5 steals plus blocks. And I'm gonna do a little bit more research. I also considered Jimmy Butler under his points. I'm thinking that I just don't know how healthy he will be, and his points probably seem a little high to me. So it's a little bit more work I need to do. On Jimmy Butler specifically, but these are the ways that I'm looking for tomorrow. And I still spell Zach's name wrong. Let me get this right, man. It's ACHER. There we go. Zachary Reese-Shea. Yeah, that's right now. I added a couple extra letters in there. But yeah, this is what I'm betting for tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll do a show, talk about whether I bet these ones that are in red. This should be in red too, because I have not bet Moses Moody. And then we'll discuss the games for Tuesday as well. So that's what I'm looking at for tomorrow, man. Best of luck on whatever it is that you are betting. Like I said, no NBA for today. Resources we talked about them are here. Jackson actually likes the opposite, likes Atlanta plus the 5. I wouldn't be there. Showed you guys how to use Outlier. There's a link in the description if you're interested in checking it out. Money Baller, referral code ChrisBeCappinn will get you 50% off as well. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys are betting for tomorrow. Enjoy your Monday. Catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.